Chosen one, they're afraid, aren't they? Your enemies know something is happening. God's plan is working and they can feel it. Let me show you what's coming next. Have you ever wondered why your life seems to be met with so much resistance? Why does it feel like everything conspires to keep you from stepping into your full potential? It's not because you're weak or unworthy. It's because they see something in you that terrifies them. Your enemies, the people, forces, and systems that work against you, sense what you're becoming. They know that God's plan is unfolding in your life, and they're afraid because they can't stop it. For too long, you've been underestimated. Your strength, your resilience, and your divine calling have been dismissed or attacked. But now everything is shifting. God's hand is moving in ways that are undeniable, and the enemy is panicking. In this video, we're going to uncover why your enemies fear your spiritual awakening, how God's plan is working behind the scenes for your ultimate victory, and what you can do to stay aligned with your purpose. If this message resonates with you, take a moment to like this video and comment 77 to affirm your connection to this truth. You are not watching this by accident. This is your confirmation that something powerful is happening in your life. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why your rise was always destined and how no one can stop what God has ordained for you. The source of your power. The reason your enemies fear you runs deeper than anything visible to the naked eye. It's not about your achievements, your status, or even your outward strength. It's about the divine power that flows through you. This power doesn't originate from the world around you. It comes directly from God. It's a force that awakens within you the moment you begin to see yourself through the lens of your Creator. When you began your spiritual awakening, everything shifted, not just in your mind but in the spiritual realm as well. You became aware of your divine identity, and with that awareness came a power that could no longer be denied. This is the transformation Paul describes in 2 Corinthians 5 verse 17. Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. This newness isn't just a fresh start. It's a rebirth into a life infused with divine purpose and authority. It's what makes you unstoppable. Your spiritual awakening is more than a personal experience. It's a signal to the forces of darkness that their time is running out. When you awaken to who you are, you disrupt the status quo in ways that shake the enemy to its core. Suddenly, the lies you once believed about yourself no longer have power over you. The chains of fear, shame, and doubt begin to break, and your light starts to shine brighter than ever before. Even if your enemies don't fully understand what's happening, they can feel it. They can sense the shift in your spirit, the resilience that refuses to crumble under pressure, and the strength that grows with every trial. This is why they work so hard to distract, discourage, and discredit you, because they know they can't stop what God has already set in motion. Isaiah 54 verse 17 declares, "No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper." This isn't just a comforting promise. It's a declaration of victory. It means that no matter how many attacks are launched against you, they will fail. The weapons may form, the resistance may come, but they will not succeed. This truth is the foundation of your power. It's what allows you to keep standing, no matter how fierce the opposition becomes. Your enemies see this, and it terrifies them. They see that every time they knock you down, you rise again. They see that the trials they meant to break you have only made you stronger. They see your faith growing, your purpose becoming clearer, and your light shining brighter. And they know it's only a matter of time before you step into the fullness of your calling. Think back to the moments in your life when you felt the most resistance. The times when everything seemed to go wrong at once, when the weight of the world felt unbearable, or when the people you trusted the most turned against you. Those moments weren't random. They were targeted attempts to dim your light and derail your purpose because the enemy feared your potential. The more you awaken to your true identity, the more intense the opposition becomes. This is because your awakening is not just about you. It's about the impact you're destined to have on others. Your enemies know that once you step fully into your power, you will inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect that they cannot control. But here's the beauty of God's plan. Every attack, every setback, every moment of pain is being used for your good. The challenges you faced weren't designed to destroy you. They were designed to refine you. Like gold in the fire, you are being purified and strengthened for the work God has called you to do. Romans 8 verse 28 reminds us, "And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose." This means that even the things meant to harm you are being transformed into tools for your growth and preparation. The resistance you face is not a sign that you're on the wrong path. It's confirmation that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Imagine a seed planted deep in the soil. At first, it's buried in darkness, pressed down by the weight of the earth. But as it begins to grow, it pushes against the soil, breaking through the obstacles in its path to reach the light. This is what your journey has been like. The darkness you've experienced wasn't the end of your story. It was the beginning of your growth. Every obstacle you've overcome has brought you closer to the surface, closer to the light, and closer to the fullness of your purpose. And now, as your spiritual awakening continues, you're breaking through in ways that are impossible to ignore. Your power doesn't come from your own strength or abilities. It comes from God working through you. This is what sets you apart and makes you unstoppable. It's why the enemy's tactics, no matter how relentless, cannot succeed. Your power is rooted in a source that is eternal and unshakable. Psalm 18 verse 2 says, "The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer. My God, my strength, in whom I will trust. My buckler and the horn of my salvation and my high tower." This is the foundation on which you stand, the reason you can face any challenge with confidence. When your enemies see this, they realize that their efforts are futile. They cannot defeat what God has anointed and protected. This power is not just for your benefit. It's for the world around you. Your awakening is a beacon of hope for others who are still trapped in darkness. When they see your resilience, your faith, and your courage, they are inspired to seek the same for themselves. Your light doesn't just illuminate your path, it illuminates the paths of those who are watching you. This is why your enemies work so hard to silence you. They know that your story has the power to change lives, to break chains, and to bring glory to God in ways they cannot stop. As you continue to grow in your awakening, remember that every attack you face is evidence of your power. The enemy doesn't waste time on those who pose no threat. The resistance you feel is proof that you are making an impact, that your light is shining brighter, and that your purpose is unfolding exactly as it should. So when the challenges come, and they will, stand firm in the knowledge that you are not alone. God is with you, strengthening you, guiding you, and using every moment to prepare you for what's next. Comment power if you're beginning to understand the true source of your strength. You are not here by accident, and your awakening is not a coincidence. Keep watching, because in the next section, we'll dive into how God's plan is working behind the scenes to ensure your ultimate victory. This is just the beginning, and the best is yet to come. How God's plan works behind the scenes. Even when it feels like nothing is happening, God is working. His hand is always in motion, orchestrating events, aligning circumstances, and positioning people in ways that may seem invisible to you now but are undeniably leading you to your destiny. This truth is at the very core of faith, trusting in what we cannot yet see. Romans 8 verse 28 reassures us of this. "And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose." This is not a vague encouragement, it's a divine guarantee. It means that every single piece of your life, even the ones that feel like failures or heartbreaks, is being used to construct a greater story, one that leads to your ultimate victory. It's hard to see this when you're in the middle of it. When the setbacks come, when the doors close, when the silence stretches longer than you expected, it's easy to feel abandoned or forgotten. You might wonder if you've made a wrong turn or if you've fallen off the path God intended for you. But what you have to remember is that God doesn't operate on human timelines or logic. His ways are higher, his timing is perfect, and his perspective is eternal. While you're looking at a single puzzle piece, God sees the entire masterpiece. He knows how each piece fits together, and he's working behind the scenes to bring everything into alignment at exactly the right moment. Your enemies don't understand this. They think that by creating obstacles and delays, they can stop you. They imagine that their attacks, whether through manipulation, rejection, or outright sabotage, are enough to derail your purpose. But what they don't realize is that God is using their very efforts to build you up, to refine you, and to elevate you. Think about Joseph, a young man with a dream given to him by God. His brothers, fueled by jealousy, sold him into slavery, thinking they were putting an end to his future. But what they didn't know was that their betrayal was part of God's plan all along. Years later, when Joseph had risen to power in Egypt and saved countless lives, he told his brothers, "But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good." The very act that was intended to destroy him became the stepping stone to his destiny. This same principle applies to you. Every plot, every scheme, every attack against you is being transformed into part of God's plan for your ultimate success. God's work behind the scenes often requires something that challenges us the most: patience. Waiting is not easy, especially when you feel like you're ready for the next step or when the circumstances around you seem urgent. But what you perceive as a delay is often divine preparation. Think about a seed planted in the ground. It doesn't sprout overnight. There is an unseen process happening beneath the surface as the roots grow deeper, drawing strength and nourishment from the soil. The same is true for you. God is strengthening your foundation, ensuring that when you rise, you will have the stability and resilience to withstand anything that comes your way. The delays you've experienced aren't denials. They're part of the process. God is not withholding something from you. He's preparing something for you. Every step you've taken, even the ones that felt like missteps, has been leading you to this moment. The people who walked away from your life were removed for a reason. The opportunities that didn't work out were closed for your protection. The situations that seemed to fall apart were actually falling into place. Trusting in God's plan means believing that He knows what you need better than you do, and that He is positioning you for something far greater than you can imagine. One of the most challenging aspects of this process is learning to let go of control. As humans, we crave certainty. We want to know how things will unfold, when the breakthrough will come, and why certain things had to happen. But faith requires surrender. It's about releasing the need to understand everything and choosing to trust the one who understands it all. Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6 teaches us, "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths." This is an invitation to rest in the knowledge that God is directing your steps, even when the path is unclear. Look back on your life for a moment. Can you see how certain things that didn't make sense at the time ultimately worked out for your good? Maybe it was a closed door that led you to a better opportunity. Maybe it was a difficult season that taught you resilience and faith. These moments are evidence of God's work behind the scenes. He has been faithful before, and He will be faithful again. The same God who brought you through your past challenges is the God who is leading you into your future victory. It's important to understand that God's timing is not just about you. It's about the bigger picture. Your journey is interconnected with the lives of others. Sometimes, God is working on aligning circumstances in someone else's life before He brings you together. Other times, He's waiting for the right environment to be in place so that when you step into your calling, it has the maximum impact. Trusting in His timing means recognizing that He sees the end from the beginning and is orchestrating everything perfectly. Your enemies, however, don't have this perspective. They operate out of fear and short-sightedness, believing that if they can cause enough chaos in your life, they can stop you. But their efforts are in vain. Isaiah 46 verse 10 reminds us that God declares the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, "My counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure." This means that nothing and no one can disrupt what God has planned for you. The very attacks your enemies launch against you are being used to propel you forward. What they intended for harm, God is turning into a platform for your purpose. As you navigate this journey, remember that waiting on God is not passive. It's an active process of faith, prayer, and preparation. Use this time to grow closer to Him, to deepen your understanding of His Word, and to strengthen your character. The waiting season is not wasted. It's a time of refinement and growth. And when the moment comes, when the pieces fall into place and God's plan is revealed, you will see that every delay was worth it. Your story is not over, chosen one. God's plan is still unfolding, and He is working behind the scenes in ways you can't even imagine. Every step, every struggle, every triumph is part of a greater purpose. You are being positioned for something extraordinary, something that will not only change your life, but also impact the lives of those around you. Trust in the process, trust in His timing, and know that nothing can stop what God has ordained. Comment victory if you're ready to trust in God's plan and His perfect timing. Stay tuned, because in the next section, we'll explore how to overcome the fear and resistance of others as you step boldly into your calling. This is just the beginning of your journey, and the best is yet to come. You've seen how your power comes from God and how His plan is working in your favor, but there's more to uncover. The road ahead won't be without challenges, and the resistance you face is part of the process. But what if I told you that even the negativity of others has a purpose in your journey? If this video is speaking to you, don't forget to subscribe, share this message with someone who needs it, and click the super thanks button to support this channel. Your journey matters, and together we're building a community of chosen ones who are rising to their divine purpose, overcoming the fear and resistance of others. One of the most challenging aspects of stepping into your divine calling is confronting the fear and resistance of others. This resistance often comes not from strangers, but from the people closest to you, the ones you thought would support your growth and celebrate your transformation. Instead, you may find them questioning, doubting, or even actively opposing the changes they see in you. It can feel like a betrayal, but it's important to recognize that their reactions are not a reflection of your worth or your purpose. As John 15 verse 18 reminds us, "If the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you." Their resistance isn't really about you. It's about the fear your light awakens in them. Your awakening disrupts the status quo. It challenges the norms, the complacency, and the unspoken agreements that keep people comfortable in their stagnation. When you step into your power, you become a mirror that reflects back to others their own unfulfilled potential. For some, this reflection is inspiring. It motivates them to examine their own lives and pursue growth. But for others, it's deeply uncomfortable. Instead of facing their fears and insecurities, they may project them onto you, labeling you as arrogant, naive, or unrealistic. This is not because you've done anything wrong, but because your courage threatens to expose their complacency. Think about it. Light is beautiful, but it's also revealing. It illuminates what has been hidden, bringing clarity but also discomfort. When your light shines brighter, it not only reveals your path, but also exposes the shadows in others' lives. This is why resistance often comes from those who are closest to you. They've grown accustomed to seeing you in a certain way, and your transformation disrupts their expectations. They may feel left behind or threatened by the idea that you are evolving into someone they no longer recognize. But your journey is not about their comfort. It's about fulfilling the purpose God has placed within you. Jesus Himself experienced this resistance. In Mark 6 verse 4, He said, "A prophet is not without honor, but in his own country, and among his own kin, and in his own house, even in his hometown, among the people who had known Him since childhood." Jesus faced rejection. They couldn't reconcile the boy they had watched grow up with the man who spoke with divine authority. Instead of celebrating His mission, they dismissed Him, saying, "Is not this the carpenter, the son of Mary?" Mark 6 verse 3. But Jesus didn't allow their disbelief to derail His purpose. He continued His work, knowing that His calling was greater than their opinions. This is the mindset you must adopt. When you face resistance from others, remember that their disbelief or negativity doesn't define your calling. It's painful, yes, especially when it comes from people you care about. But their inability to see your vision doesn't mean your vision is invalid. God didn't give them your purpose. He gave it to you. And while their approval may feel comforting, it's not a requirement for your journey. One of the most difficult things about this process is letting go of the need for external validation. As humans, we crave connection and acceptance, especially from those we love. It's natural to want the people around you to understand and support your growth. But as you awaken to your divine purpose, you may find that not everyone is meant to walk this path with you. Some relationships will fall away, not because of hatred or malice, but because their season in your life has come to an end. This can feel like loss, but it's actually a form of alignment. God is making room for the people who are meant to support your next chapter. Consider the story of Gideon in Judges 7. When God called Gideon to lead Israel into battle, he told him to reduce the size of his army. At first, Gideon had 32,000 men, but God instructed him to send most of them away, leaving only 300. Why? Because God wanted Gideon to see that victory would come not from the strength of numbers, but from his divine power. In the same way, God may be reducing the army of people around you, not to weaken you, but to show you that his plan doesn't depend on their presence. The people who leave your life are not necessary for your victory. Trust that God is removing what doesn't align with your purpose to make space for what does. Facing resistance also requires courage. It takes strength to rise above negativity, especially when it comes from those you care about. But courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to move forward in spite of it. It's choosing to stay focused on your calling, even when others try to distract or discourage you. This is why Ephesians 6 verse 13 tells us, "Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand, you are equipped with everything you need to face this resistance." Your faith, your resilience, and your connection to God are your armor. Stand firm in the knowledge that you are walking in alignment with his plan, and no amount of opposition can change that. As you navigate this resistance, remember that it's part of your growth. Diamonds are formed under pressure, and seeds break open before they sprout. The challenges you face are refining you, making you stronger and more focused. Every time you overcome negativity, you build spiritual muscle that prepares you for the next phase of your journey. The resistance is not a sign that you're on the wrong path. It's confirmation that you're stepping into your power. The enemy doesn't attack what isn't a threat. The very fact that you're facing opposition means you're moving in the right direction. It's also important to recognize that the resistance of others often has more to do with their own fears than with you. They may be afraid of change, afraid of losing their connection to you, or afraid of what your growth says about their own lives. While it's not your responsibility to fix their fears, you can choose to respond with compassion. Understanding that their resistance comes from a place of insecurity allows you to rise above anger or defensiveness. You don't need to argue or prove yourself. Simply continue walking your path, trusting that your example may one day inspire them to seek their own growth. In daily life, this might mean setting boundaries with people who drain your energy or sow doubt in your mind. It might mean spending less time with those who can't support your journey and more time with those who uplift and encourage you. It might mean walking alone for a season, trusting that God will bring the right people into your life at the right time. Whatever it looks like, know that it's okay to prioritize your purpose over others' expectations. Comment, focus, if you're ready to rise above the negativity and stay aligned with your purpose. Your journey is not for others to understand. It's for you to fulfill. Stay tuned, because in the next section, we'll explore how to remain strong and centered as you move forward in your calling. This is your time, chosen one. Step boldly into it. Staying aligned with your purpose is not a passive act. It's an ongoing, intentional commitment to prioritize God's plan over the distractions, temptations, and pressures of the world. It requires discipline, unwavering faith, and a deep-rooted connection to the one who called you. In a world filled with noise, opinions, and chaos, staying focused on your divine mission is one of the greatest challenges you'll face. Proverbs 4 verses 25 to 27 offers wisdom that cuts through this noise. Let thine eyes look right on, and let thine eyelids look straight before thee. Ponder the path of thy feet, and let all thy ways be established. Turn not to the right hand nor to the left. Remove thy foot from evil. This is a call to unwavering focus, a reminder that the distractions around you are not nearly as powerful as the vision God has placed within you. One of the most important aspects of staying aligned with your purpose is guarding your mind and heart. The world will throw countless distractions your way, things that seem urgent but are ultimately insignificant, opportunities that promise quick rewards but lead you off course, and voices that sow seeds of doubt in your spirit. If you allow these things to take root, they will begin to cloud your vision and pull you away from the mission God has entrusted to you. This is why the Bible urges us in Philippians 4 verse 8 to meditate on whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report. What you focus on shapes your thoughts, and your thoughts shape your actions. If you fill your mind with truth and surround yourself with God's presence, your steps will naturally follow the path He has set for you. Staying aligned with your purpose also means protecting your energy and being intentional about the people you allow into your inner circle. Not everyone is meant to walk this journey with you, and that's okay. There will be those who uplift, encourage, and challenge you to grow closer to God. And there will be those who drain your energy, distract you with negativity, or sow doubt into your spirit. As hard as it may be, you must discern which relationships align with your purpose and which ones don't. Jesus himself modeled this when he chose his 12 disciples. While he ministered to the multitudes, he surrounded himself with a smaller group of people who were aligned with his mission. Even within the 12, he had a closer relationship with Peter, James, and John, who were present for some of his most intimate and significant moments. This wasn't favoritism, it was wisdom. He understood the importance of surrounding himself with those who shared his vision and could support him in fulfilling his purpose. In your life, this might mean reevaluating relationships that consistently pull you away from God or drain your emotional and spiritual resources. It doesn't mean you stop loving or praying for these individuals, but it does mean setting boundaries that protect your focus and energy. Surround yourself with people who encourage you, who remind you of your purpose when you begin to doubt, and who challenge you to grow in faith and obedience. These relationships will become a source of strength as you navigate the challenges of staying aligned with your calling. Comment purpose if you're committed to staying on the path God has set for you. Your journey is unique, your mission is significant, and your alignment with God's will is the key to fulfilling it. Stay tuned, because in the final section, we'll explore how to rise above all opposition and claim your destiny. This is your time, chosen one. Keep your eyes fixed on the path, and don't let anything turn you to the right or to the left. Heaven is cheering you on. The final step is the most important. Are you ready to rise above the opposition and claim your place in history? Rising above the opposition is the moment when all the trials, resistance, and doubts you faced come into sharp focus. It's when you decide that no matter what comes against you, whether it's fear, negativity, or outright attacks, you will not be moved. This is the moment when you fully step into your God-given power, knowing that you were created for such a time as this. Ephesians 6 verse 13 offers a rallying cry for this kind of strength. Take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. This is not just about surviving the challenges. It's about standing firm, unshaken, and victorious in the face of everything that seeks to hold you back. Opposition comes in many forms, and it often disguises itself in subtle ways. It might look like self-doubt, whispering lies that you're not strong enough or worthy enough to fulfill your purpose. It might manifest as people around you, friends, family, or colleagues, who try to diminish your progress or discourage you from pursuing the path God has set for you. Or it might arise as circumstances that feel insurmountable, like closed doors, unexpected detours, or prolonged seasons of waiting. But what you must understand is that opposition is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of your significance. The enemy doesn't attack what isn't a threat. The resistance you face is proof that your rise is causing ripples in the spiritual realm. Think about a ship navigating through stormy seas. The winds howl, the waves crash, and it feels as though the storm will overtake it. But the strength of the ship is not in avoiding the storm. It's in its ability to press forward, its anchor holding firm against the current. You are that ship, and your anchor is your faith. No matter how fierce the storm, you are equipped to rise above it, not by your own strength, but by the power of God working through you. When you put on the armor of God, truth, righteousness, peace, faith, salvation, and the Word, you are unshakable, no matter what comes against you. Your enemies fear you because they know the truth. God's plan is working, and they can't stop it. You were chosen for this time, for this purpose, and your rise is inevitable. If this message resonated with you, Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and comment, "I am chosen to affirm your place in this divine awakening." The world is waiting for your light, chosen one. It's time to rise.